Hello food fans, I am at Burger King one more time. This time not for the Whopper or any sort of beef burger, but I've got a chicken sandwich which looks sort of like a hot dog bun, a long bun with a chicken sandwich there. And I have two chicken sandwiches and two small fries, which actually look pretty big. Two small fries for $4.99. Had a coupon. I'm cheap. Chicken sandwich is crunchy, very tasty, very, very good. And I have brought along my own root beer. So get that open. Then we'll talk a little bit about things that I want to talk about while I'm eating. This is basically a lunch. Set that where it won't fall over, hopefully. And I'll tell you my latest joke. This is a joke I came up with about a month ago. First to bite a chicken. No complaints. This is very good sandwich. My latest joke. If you have a car that was made entirely in Czechoslovakia, shouldn't the check engine light always be on? CZECH. Try a fry. And I'll talk to you a little bit about residuals and royalties. I'll urge you to pursue residuals and royalties during your lifetime activities. Get a sip of the 79-cent root beer. This came from Kroger. Two sandwiches for about $5. Pretty good deal these days. Royalty income is mainly for things that you create, such as a song or a book if you write a book. And you can make a good amount of money with royalties. And the royalties, for example, if you write a song and it's played on a TV show, you'll get a check for a certain amount depending on what is agreed upon in advance. but you get it for one time only. It's in perpetuity. When I was on the Gong Show, I was on 13 Gong shows plus the pilot. I did 9 original songs, and at that time the rate for that particular type of show was $8 for a full performance times the number of stations that the show was on. So I was getting about $1,600 for each of the songs, real dumb songs. And the shows I was on were the ones that had the union talent, professional after talent. So I got paid whether I would win or not win. I would get paid about $440. And plus, if I happened to have an original song, add $1,600. So that was a very lucrative show to be on. And that's royalties. But of course, then they could show the show as many times as they wanted to, and I would never get paid again. Not that I was worried about that, it's just that's the way it is. So I'd get about $2,000, and then they could show the show as often as they wanted to and not have to pay me royalties for the song anymore. Residuals were for performing as an actor for me in movies and TV shows. Residuals were interesting. Kind of hard to understand how they pay them, but when I was on Dear John, I would work an episode, and first of all, the show has to go to syndication or a rerun of some sort before residuals come into the monetary compensation. I would work on the show. I'd get paid for working on the show, and the show would show on TV, on network TV, the first time it showed. I've already been paid for that, so that's I don't get a check for the first time it's shown on TV other than the check I made when I was working on the show. But then if the episode is rerun or the movie is rerun, I get paid a first time residual. And the first time residual would be whatever the minimum weekly paycheck for working on a show of that type was at the time I worked on it. Then the second rerun, I'd get paid again, but it'd be less than the first rerun. Then the third time would be less than the second time, and so on. But it kept coming in no matter how many times it ran. If it ran 20 or 30 times, if it reran in syndication, I would get some sort of check, and there was eventually a minimum it went to, which was about probably $200 per episode was the minimum for regular syndication. Now, it does not cover cable. Cable was pennies on the dollar. Chicken sandwich is very good. French fries are very good. My friend Ryan did a video comparing Whoppers and Big Macs. He did a McDonald's Burger King comparison. I'll leave a link in the description. In the royalties arena, give you an example of how a person can make quite a bit of money if they happen to write the right song. It doesn't have to be a good song, it has to be the right song. Paul Anka and Johnny Carson wrote the Tonight Show theme. Each time they would play the theme song, a check would be generated for one payment, and then they could show that show again over and over again without paying any more for that song. But the Tonight Show, 5 nights a week, and they would play the song at the beginning of the show, the end of the show, each time they went to a break, each time they came back from a break. And if they only played a certain number of seconds of the song, they would get far less money. But if they played the song all the way through or halfway through or something, they would get the full amount. And in songwriting, they consider the payment, the royalty for the song, to be 100% for writers, 100% for publishers, which means they consider 200%. And the publisher or publishers get 100% of the publishing. The writer gets 100% of the writing. If there are more than 2 writers or more than 1 writer, they divide the royalties. So a show like The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson could run 30 years, and the songwriters could make a lot of money. Let us. Residuals can definitely end up being more than what the actor earned when they first worked the show. If the show is one like, say, Seinfeld, which was shown over and over again, I would guess that each episode has been shown at least 40 times. But if it shows over and over again and you're always getting something, you'll make quite a bit of money with residuals. And that only works that way if it is a union show. Now SAG and AFTRA are one union. So it is to your advantage if you're an actor to get into the union as soon as you can. I think the initiation fee now is $3,000. It was about $300 when I got in. And just like my coupon meals, I got a discount on getting into Screen Actors Guild because I already had belonged to AFTRA. I got into AFTRA because I was in radio. AFTRA stands for American Federation of Television Radio Artists. It's a good meal. Highly recommend Burger King chicken. So is there any kind of movie job that pays more than acting? the billionaires in the film industry are producers. They risk either their money or someone else's money up front, and they get a big payoff because they own the product and they sell the product. And without them, nothing gets made. If you want to be a big money person in movies, become a producer. I believe, if I remember correctly, Tom Cruise has a celebrity net worth of about $300 million, and Steven Spielberg has several billion. I think Oprah is the #1 female show business celebrity person financially, with a couple of $1 billion. You make $1 billion here and $1 billion there, and pretty soon you're making real money. Life has always been fun for me. And the more fun I had, the more money I made. And I'm not wealthy like Steven Spielberg or Oprah, but I'm richer than either of them because I've had more than 80 years of fabulous, wonderful life. And I've eaten Burger King chicken sandwiches. I tasted my mom's cooking. She was a fabulous cook. My uncles and aunts were great cooks. I've enjoyed good health. I haven't had a headache in probably 50 years or longer. And even though I eat all the foods that are on the list of foods you shouldn't eat, I have not had an upset stomach since the early 1970s. I had one. Prior to that, going back to when I was 14, so since I was 14 years old, 67 years now, I've had an upset stomach only one time. Burger King. Really good stuff. I do recommend not only the chicken sandwich at Burger King, I also recommend show business. If you're thinking about getting into show business, do it. It's a struggle to become successful, but life is a struggle. And climbing the ladder of success. A lot of fun. Even being rejected gives you stories to tell that other people can't tell. I was on Dear John for 4 seasons, 1988 to 1992. During my movie extra career, extra and actor and musician, I worked on more than 145 different TV series. I worked on more than 800 total productions. I worked on more than 100 feature films, more than 80 TV movies. And I worked on a lot of commercials, but I don't know how many. And that was over a period of 26 years in Hollywood and 1 year in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a good city for entertainers. Kind of gray here today, very overcast. Rain is expected. Getting down to the end of the chicken sandwich, end of the chicken sandwich, end of the chicken sandwich. Been nice sharing lunch with you. Hope you had something that tasted as good as this chicken sandwich. Last of the chicken. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching.